again, it exemplifies the motto, peace through mutual understanding. Of course, we had to take a hiatus last year, but we're back to celebrate the One World Day Festival. Here's a big round of applause today. Carry the banner. And also give it up for the flag guard from the Northwest Police Honor Guard there under the direction of Lieutenant King Mako Judge. Thank you for carrying the flag. Beautiful sound. It was actually formed, it's their 20th year in the fall of 2001 by a few members of the Irish American Club on the East Side. They continue to grow and list new members. They're currently boasting a roster of over 30. And of course, you see that beautiful appearance, that tartan of kilt is the ancient MacLeod of Paris, which is complemented by their Lovac green. Well, they're not wearing the jackets today. Great stuff, gang. Our first flag is Ukrainian. How about in the Ukrainian community this year? Proud to celebrate Ukraine's 30th anniversary of restored independence. They hold and carry that beautiful yellow and blue flag with honor and in solidarity of all freedom-loving nations. Slava Ukraine, thanks for joining. By the way, they're also celebrating their 80th anniversary of the Ukrainian Cultural Guard. Look at this beautiful 40-foot flag. Beautiful pageantry and dancing on display. Thank you again to the Chinese Cultural Guard marchers. Just behind them is the Egyptian Guard. Now this is still the planning stages, but we're so happy another guard will be built. How about this proposed presentation of their culture? The plan right now includes pyramids and a sphinx, obviously notable symbols of that country with rich history. The Egyptian Guard. Thanks for marching, Daniel. Following up on two, it's the French Guard. Another in progress guard. Gotta have it, right? The red, white, and blue of France. The French American Chamber of Commerce Ohio chapter recently celebrated Bastille Day. Right in. Look at these outfits from the Uzbekistan Guard. Beautiful. Another in progress guard. 30 million. That's the population of Uzbekistan. Larger than a lot of countries in Europe. So well represented there, well represented here. A landlocked nation. Let's put these up. Here comes the Irish Guard, the unmistakable banner, green, white, and orange. The Murphy Irish dancers are in this group. From the Murphy Irish Arts Center, in the best Irish dance schools in the Cleveland area. They're also part of the Irish American Club. East Side Fight Drum Corps. You can hear that family. How do they preserve the traditions in Ireland? Well, you can hear it through music, through dance. Following up is the Pakistani Guardian. It's a new garden. They're passionate. They've got community making plans. You can see that rich clean flag. You love it. If you visit the Pakistani Guard, by the way, you might hear the double barrel drum. That's called the dal. Thank you. The Lebanese garden. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, this group is strong. Love of red, white, and green flag of Lebanon is back after a one-year hiatus. That flag, by the way, the tree in the middle is a cedar tree. It's a symbol of Lebanon. The cedars of Lebanon, most famous trees in all of antiquity.
Thank you.
All right, great to see you again, gang. Thanks for marching once again. Here we have the traditional colors and garb of the Croatian garden. They are also celebrating their 75th Independence Day. How about that? Mr. Niraj Antani. Thank you so much, gang, for coming up. India is celebrating 75 years of independence this year. The Federation of Indian Community Association of Cleveland would like to thank the globe for their support and solidarity of India in combating the pandemic, COVID-19, and supporting their independence and their democracy. The largest democracy by population on the entire planet is the country of India. Hey, how about the Netherlands? Love the order.
If you were wondering, this is the first rock star. Oh, you hear it, right here. And next we have Indonesia. Let's give it up for Indonesia. So here's a little bit of information about Indonesia. It's a country located in Southeast Asia, lying between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. So Indonesia's motto is unity and diversity, signifies the country's culture and ethnicity, with all people living together largely in peace. Indonesia consists of 1,300 ethnic groups and more than 700 living languages. Alright, now we're moving on to the British garden. I see you all. Czechoslovakia. The 2019 flag started with a commemoration of the Baltic Way, which was a chain of people holding hands through Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. We commemorated this historic event by having our parade marchers form our own human chain, joining hands along Martin Luther King Boulevard right here in Cleveland. Welcome. And representing the Priest Garden, the national flag of Greece is popularly referred to as the blue and white because of the Next is the Slovak Garden, dressed beautifully in their natural garbs today, looking beautiful. Did you know that the nation of Czechoslovakia, now the Czech Republic and Slovakia, was actually founded right here in Cleveland, Ohio? In 1918, after World War I, Czechoslovakia was formed out of a piece of Austro-Hungarian Empire by a group of leaders who met at the Czech Cultural Garden right here in Cleveland. What a rich history that you all have. Thank you for being part of the parade. Coming up next, the African American Garden, the annual Juneteenth celebration held in the African American Culture Garden, June 18, 2016. That was a special year because it included the ribbon cutting and the dedication of Phase 1 of the African American Cultural Garden, featuring the Doorway of No Return. And welcome to Peru. The Republic of Peru is a country in western South America and is a mega diverse country with habitats ranging from the Pacific coastal region extending all the way to the mountains and the Amazon basin rainforest with more than 30 million people. The Peruvian people are a unique blend of indigenous, Spanish, and African. Peru is famous for vibrant culture. Take a look at those costumes.
Dice
Polish cultural garden recently added a large bust of Saint Pope John Paul II to go with busts of Madame Curie and others. Beautiful outfits. Love the traditional clothing. Hi guys, looking good.
Also, the kiosk troupe is going to be one of the first national entertainers on the Centennial Plaza stage. So be sure you come back for that at 2 o'clock. Thanks.
Progress Garden. Or maybe think of Cinco de Mayo as the biggest Mexican holiday.
¡Viva México!
celebration of Brazilian culture with some of the samba music and smiles that we can hear right now. Great to see you guys out here having fun.
To begin our welcoming ceremony for the 75th annual One World Day, we are so proud to present the national anthem by the Men of Independence. And for International Garden, we're so proud because these gentlemen are placed 13th in the world in competition and singing. So welcome to the Men of Independence, and if everybody would please rise for the national anthem. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, land of the free, and the home of the brave.
And that certainly was a world-class presentation. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good afternoon. My name is Sheila Murphy Crawford. I am the past president of the Cleveland Cultural Gardens Federation and the MC for today's program on Centennial Stage. Welcome to the 75th annual One World Day in the Cleveland Cultural Gardens. The gardens represent countries from all around the world, and in this place, we take great pride in celebrating the garden's motto, peace through mutual understanding. Today, amidst all the flags of the participating nations, we can see what can be accomplished by working together and honoring each other's heritage and culture. It is with great pleasure that I introduce the president of the Cleveland Cultural Gardens Federation, Dr. Weil Curry. Dr. Curry is the head cardiologist at Marymount Hospital. He served as the chairman of the board of the Cleveland Council of World Affairs for 6 years. Through his leadership and dedication, the cultural gardens have experienced tremendous growth, extensive organizational development, and the realization of this beautiful Centennial Plaza. Through his vision for the future of the cultural gardens, he has truly put us on a path of peace and stability for years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Weil Curry.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. It's a beautiful day at a beautiful place. On behalf of the board of the Cleveland Cultural Gardens Federation, I'd like to welcome you to the 75th anniversary of One World Day and to the formal opening of the Centennial Peace Plaza. One World Day is a celebration of international cultures here in Cleveland, a recognition of the values and importance of living together and celebrating together. International communities are proud of their heritage and committed to enriching the United States with their culture and arts. Wasn't this parade great to see all these people from different nationalities, different countries, celebrating and marching together behind their flags? Thank you. We opened it up to communities that don't have gardens so we can encourage them to join us. A great thank you for One World Day team, led by Mr. Johnny Wu. Johnny, are you here? I don't know if Johnny is here. Thank you. John Yu and his team, his staff. Thank you for the One World Day, the committee of the Federation, and tens of volunteers helping to make this day so pleasant. Every country in the world has botanical gardens and public parks. Every city in the world has sculptures of cultural icons. Every nationality celebrates its cultural icons by art. But only Cleveland has an international collection of cultural icons in beautiful gardens. This is a unique combination in the whole world. Monuments of 80 great notables in history decorate a beautiful park. Generations of dedicated volunteers representing their communities maintain the gardens to be a source of pride for their future generations. Inspired by the centennial spirits 5 years ago, Mrs. Sheila Murphy Crawford, stand up, Sheila. Where's Sheila? Sheila, thank you. Sheila spearheaded the idea of building up an outdoor space to make the area a destination place in the gardens. This wonderful place we are in now is the Centennial Peace Plaza. It took a lot of work from our architect, Mr. Burj Shakarian. Burj, are you here? Thank you. Stand up. Great architect. It took a lot of work from our architect and the Plaza Committee to do this project. And with the help of our donors and supporters, we were able to fundraise and build up the plaza on time and on budget. We wanted this plaza to be the gathering space for people of the world. We want our communities to enjoy cultural, artistic, and educational activities here. We invite all civic organizations and international communities to have their outdoor functions here. Our team is committed to holding regular programs during the summer months. We are very pleased that we were able to hold 11 programs during the summer, and here we are now celebrating one more day on this beautiful facility. Through our close relations with the city, we were able to acquire 16 new lots for new gardens. Several communities have expressed interest in having a garden. We encourage all international groups to consider having new gardens. We have 35 gardens now, and 9 more gardens are on their way. Didn't you see the Mexicans and the Colombians and the Egyptians? They're all working on their gardens now. And we want the Brazilians and Indonesians and Nigerians. We want everybody to have a garden here. Yes. I want to thank our entire board for their dedication and support. Our executive director, Ms. Lori Ashik, for her multitasking, diligence, and hard work. Stand up, Lori. Thank you. Thank you very much, Lori, for all your hard work. Our gardens delegates for their engagements and commitments to their gardens. I want to thank our advisory board for their counsel. Our boards and delegates are the best example of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the city. I want to thank the city of Cleveland for their infrastructure improvements and expansions of new lots. Their continued commitment to the gardens will be even more critical in the future. I want to thank our major donors who made this plaza a reality. The City of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County Council, the Cleveland Foundation, Holden Park Trust, the Gant Foundation, the Sewer District, ODNR, and multiple other organizations and individuals. A special thanks to Glenville Councilman, Mr. Kevin Conwell. Kevin, where are you? All right. I want to thank our collaborating organizations for their support. the Cleveland Orchestra, the Cleveland Art Museum, Cleveland Public Theater, Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, Ohio Arts Council, the Park Foundation, Destination Cleveland, the Council on World Affairs, and Global Cleveland, and many, many others. Hope you and your family stay safe and enjoy a great and magical one more day. And thank you for being here. I want to call on Mr. Jackson, the mayor of the great city of Cleveland.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I appreciate that. I too want to welcome everyone to the 75th One World Day here in the Cultural Gardens. It is very appropriate that we celebrate 75 years, particularly in today's world where things are so polarized and people are so against someone else for reasons that even they don't understand sometimes. So it's always good when we get together and we learn each other, because once we learn each other about each other, it becomes more difficult to hate. So I want to thank the people who put this on, because this could never have happened without hard work and dedication. And the Cleveland Culture Garden Federation has done this for a long time. It is with their leadership, with their commitment, with their volunteers. All these things make this happen. So I have a proclamation, and I want to present it to you, Doc, and it's in recognition of the 75th One World Day. And again, your effort and your organization's effort in making this happen every year for 75 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Jackson. Thank you for all your leadership over the years to be the leader of the city of Cleveland. Cleveland saw a lot of improvement and growth during your terms. So thank you again, and best wishes for you and your family in the future. I want to call on Mr. Armand Budish, Cuyahoga County Executive, who has been a supporter also of the Plaza Project.
Great pleasure to be here today, everybody, and especially want to thank Dr. Curry and your team for all you do. These cultural gardens show what we should be together. People from all over the country, all over the world, come together here in this country and in this county to, as you said, be working together and show that we strongly believe in peace. You know, my wife was here last week, I think, doing weeding in the Hebrew Cultural Gardens. Talk about grassroots work. She was doing grassroots work. The fact is that this is more important than ever. You know, we just saw in Afghanistan the terror that's going on there, the terrible loss of life that's going on there, people fleeing just to save their lives out of Afghanistan. I spoke with Joe Simperman and the leadership of Global Cleveland the other day, talking about what we can do in Cleveland and in Cuyahoga County to help people who need help, because we are a welcoming community here in Cuyahoga County, and we want to be that way and continue that way. So the county has indicated we are happy to help in any way possible. We will help with food, clothing, shelter, healthcare, whatever we can to help people who are coming here with literally nothing except the clothes on their back. They need our help. This is what the Cultural Gardens, this is what this Centennial Peace Plaza symbolizes. It symbolizes all of us coming together to help people in need. And that's what we do together here. So thank you very much, appreciate it. And thanks for all coming out and showing your support.
Thank you very much for all your services and support. I want to call on Mr. Ronald Richard, who is the president of the Cleveland Foundation. The Cleveland Foundation has been an early supporter for the Federation and the Plaza. With him and Lillian Coury, thank you Lillian for being here today. They were very supportive from day one with the seed grants to enable us to have an executive director and to enable us to start the process of building the Centennial Peace Plaza. Very appreciative over the years. And they're behind a lot of growth areas in the city. Thank you, Ron, for your leadership.
Good afternoon, everyone. As was just mentioned, I'm Ron Richard, President and CEO of the Cleveland Foundation, and on behalf of the entire staff and board of the foundation, I'm delighted to join you here at this magnificent Cultural Gardens as we celebrate this 75th anniversary of One World Day. As someone who began his career in the U.S. Foreign Service and who's had the great privilege of living abroad in Japan and Thailand and traveling all over the globe, I have a deep appreciation for the importance of global connections and international relations. It's so important that we learn about and respect cultures and traditions beyond our own. And of course, it's fun and so stimulating and so wonderful. This is one of the many reasons the Cleveland Cultural Gardens are such an important asset for Cleveland. In addition to the beauty and green space they provide, gardens remind us to celebrate the diverse cultures and heritages that people have brought with them to Cleveland across generations, weaving the vibrant social fabric of our community. The motto of the Cleveland Cultural Gardens Federation, peace through mutual understanding, remains urgent today. At a time when it's easy to focus on the deep divisions in our country and around the world, we must make an effort to find common ground and common cause against existential threats to all of humanity, such as climate change. The Cleveland Cultural Gardens provide that common ground in our community. Whether you're attending the arts or educational programs in one of the gardens, celebrating a special event like we are here today, or simply passing through on a walk or ride through the neighborhood, these gardens remind us that diversity is beautiful and something to be honored and cherished. Cleveland Foundation has been proud to support the Cleveland Cultural Gardens over so many years, including seed money for the creation of Centennial Peace Plaza, where we stand today. We've also provided funding for arts and educational programs in the garden, as well as the expansion of the Federation's staff capacity. And I too would like to recognize Lori Ashik, Executive Director of the Cultural Gardens Federation, for her leadership. And I'd like to congratulate the Federation's Board of Directors, led, of course, by my dear, dear friend, Dr. Lyle Curry, who volunteer their time to guide the Federation's growth and plans for the future. Thank you for your hard work and your dedication over so many years. The COVID-19 pandemic has reminded us of the important role that parks and outdoor space play in our lives as sanctuaries and gathering spaces. Here in Cleveland, we're fortunate to have many lovely parks, but there are none quite like the Cleveland Cultural Gardens, which are unique in the world. All of us have a role to play in supporting this special space so that greater Clevelanders can continue to explore and cherish these gardens for generations to come, and that's exactly why we're here today. So thank you all very much for being here. I'll now turn it back to Lyle as we continue to celebrate this wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Ron, for all your leadership over the years. They're the engine behind the Renaissance in Cleveland. I want to call on Mr. Chris Ronaine, is the president of UCI and Holden Park Trust. And Chris was the very first one to have the seed grant for the Centennial Peace Plaza during the centennial celebration of the Federation. I remember that dinner, when Sheila introduced him and said, Chris, here's X amount. Should I say how much? Or, you can say. But he was very supportive from day one, and that really launched the program. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Dr. Corey. Thank you, Weil. Thank you for your friendship. And it's hard to say no to you, that's what I'll say. And Lori and Sheila, it's hard to say no to such a team. And the continuum between the two of you, Sheila to Lori, and keeping this going and growing in the cultural gardens and your leadership, Wow, thank you. Happy 75th anniversary, the diamond anniversary. I think it's fitting. This is a diamond truly in the city of Cleveland, as Mayor Jackson well knows. I'm glad to be working at your side. I'm Chris Ronaine. I work up the hill at University Circle, and I also wear a hat that Weil referred to, which is the chair of the Holden Parks Trust, which I'm going to come back to in a minute. But everything we do in Cleveland takes a team. I want to say to my friends at the Cleveland Foundation, thank you. Ron, Lillian, I saw India walk in, thank you. They leverage partnerships like no other, and that's how groups like Holden Parks, who make smaller investments, can make it all work. I want to just say this is a day of gratitude. We at University Circle, my friend and my work colleague and partner, Debbie Berry, has been a staff to all of our work out here with the Cultural Gardens. Thank you, Debbie. It's been a great continuing run these last 16 years. We have 2 miles of such a special place between University Circle and the lake that bring us together. I call this the great civic idea, when it started with Rockefeller's idea to gift 250 acres to the city of Cleveland, and it took another gentleman, Leo Weidenthal, to take it even further forward. When the Shakespeare Garden was initiated and ultimately became the British Garden, it was the first of a few. That was in 1916, and in 1926 came the Hebrew Garden, and thereafter came 33, now 35 more gardens. It's been fun to watch that in the era we've been working in with the Cultural Gardens Federation, it's been one of those spectacular eras. In the 1930s, there were a dozen or so gardens that came to bear. And we took some pauses through time, but in the 2000s, we've brought a dozen more gardens to bear. And they keep coming, as you referenced, 5 more interested gardens and cultures that are gonna bring this together. So to see this continue to grow is a bit reflective and microcosmic of our city itself. When we welcome, we grow. When we welcome immigrants, we grow. And so this great civic idea kept growing 30 years after the Cultural Gardens founding, and 20 years before that, the Rockefeller Park gift. Some 50 years later was the idea for One World Day in 1946. An interesting story about the first One World Day. The paraders marched from Public Square to here. Imagine that on this day, this hot day, marching 6 miles down Euclid Avenue to Rockefeller Park and on through to where we are. Kudos to them in that first march. But anyways, this continued as a tradition for 75 years, and it happened after the founding of the United Nations. I think what we all want to pledge to one another is to keep a good thing growing. The Holden Parks Trust did put in its largest grant ever to this Centennial Plaza because it meant something to us. The Holden Parks Trust put into the Cultural Gardens about $4 million over the last 10 years because it means something to us. I think the rain is good luck. In our next 75 years is One World Day ahead. What else can you say? It's nice to be under those umbrellas, but it's also nice to see things cool down. Look, this is about growing Cleveland. This is about growing a great city on a great lake. But moreover, back to that first garden, the Shakespeare Garden. William Shakespeare himself said something that I think is very fitting to our city. He said, "What of a city but its people? What of a city but its people?" At the end of the day, that's who we are. A city of dynamic, diverse peoples from all over the world. That's how we started, and if we're going to continue to grow, that's where we need to go. I want to give one final thank you to Kevin Conwell. He's been a terrific councilman and partner to us. Thank you, Kevin. only in the 9th Ward, and the mayor knows this, do you have a fantastic councilman and the musician of the day. So with his team, JT and Eddie, thank you guys for what you do, and he keeps jazz going in Cleveland. Let's celebrate this year, the 75th anniversary, and look forward to the next 75 years. Keep a good thing growing. Let's continue to grow with people all over this world feeling welcome in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you, Weil. Thank you, Cultural Gardens. Thank you, Lori. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. I want to recognize a very special person here today, my dear, dear friend, Mr. Dick Pope. Dick, I call Dick Mr. Cleveland, and he's truly Mr. Cleveland. I've worked with him for so many years at the Cleveland Council on World Affairs. Great leadership, great philanthropist in the city. He touched the lives of so many people in so many organizations, including the Federation. Thank you, Dick, for all your support, friendship, and leadership. Thank you. Kevin, you want to say a few words? I'd like to welcome Mr. Kevin Conwell. He's the Council of Glenville, and he'll say a few words to you, and he's a leading musician in the city.
Thank you very, very much. Two things that got me to thinking about what the mayor said. He was talking about narrating about hate. And Doc, I love working with you, Lori, the Federation. Is that when we can put some programs in the schools from what we're doing, when you talk about all these monuments here, about Afghanistan and about Pakistan, and we just did the Ethiopian monument last year, and Syria and England and the British. But then, Mr. Mayor, we could bring it to the schools so that our children will learn about it. Because we live through our children. Don't you agree? We live through our children. And so, if you want to deal with this hate that's in the that's anywhere and everywhere, we have to give our children exposure. And they have to see success every single day. Every single day. So we can bring it to them by creating some programs, and we sit down and we talk with Eric Gordon and the school board and say, this is what we want in the city of Cleveland. I got one more idea, and I'll sit down, and I don't mind working. As the mayor would know, I'll help bring it forth. I'll tell you something that will be really, really cool, Ryan. When you visit the Ethiopian gardens, and you visit the Syrian gardens, and you visit the British gardens, and you visit, as you mentioned, Nigerian, that if we had some kiosks there, when you pick it up, Eddie Backus, you hear the music of that country. And the music of the people that's there. Because the music and the culture are directly correlated. And so you'll be able to understand more about it when you pick up and you hear Ethiopian music, you pick it up and you hear Latin music and Spanish music, and you're looking at the monument. That would be a cool thing. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Lori, would you like to say a few words?
I would just like to say that the rain is going to blow over very quickly, so don't leave. Take advantage of all of our gardens. We had 44 units in our parade today. We invite cultures that do not have countries in the gardens to participate, and we have so much interest, and so it really is a reflection of how much people love this event and how much people really want to be part of Cleveland and to represent their communities here in Cleveland. So thank you all for coming, and enjoy the rest of One World Day.
Thank you, Lori. Great work in the last 3-4 years. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you, Dr. Curry. So we'll just finish with a few things here. As you know, we depend so much on the volunteers that run all the nationality gardens. Each garden in the Cultural Gardens is owned by the city of Cleveland. However, they are run and they are given legislative control over their areas. But after that, they are in charge of raising the funds and getting the work crews to get things planted and weeded and looking beautiful. So thank you so much to our volunteers. And we would like to recognize a few anniversary gardens. And so in 1916, the very first cultural garden was built and dedicated. As Chris reminded you, it was the Shakespearean garden. There were celebrations all around the world in 1916 to honor him. And in this city, we established the gardens. And so today, none of those other dedications to William Shakespeare lasted like this one did. And it became the only one in the world, the size of our cultural gardens and the magnificent quality. So we would like to honor the anniversary gardens. First of all, the Ukrainian garden. Their delegate is Theodosia Kryzlati. Is Theodosia here? Okay. Well, we would like to congratulate them on their 80th anniversary of the establishment of the Ukrainian Cultural Garden. We welcome and acknowledge the Ukrainian community, one of Cleveland's original members, Cultural Garden members. Like many others, they left as struggling immigrants. They fled tyranny and occupation. And today they are a nation of 65 million worldwide. Ukrainians are especially honored here today on their 80th anniversary as a Cleveland Cultural Garden and a valued member of this unique world community. So congratulations to them, and we have a certificate of appreciation to give them. Secondly, we'd like to recognize the Lithuanian Cultural Garden, and their representative is Violeta Ledger. Is Violeta here? Come on up, Violeta. The Lithuanian Cultural Garden is celebrating its 85th anniversary. Lithuania is a small country situated on the southern shores of the Baltic Sea in Eastern Europe. Its people love to sing and dance and have huge yearly festivals to continue this tradition. The Lithuanian Cultural Garden was constructed by immigrants and their descendants who came in the late 1800s and the early 1900s in order to remember their heritage and to acquaint people of America with the culture and history of Lithuania. It was dedicated in 1936. The flag is a symbol of the nation with the yellow reminding of the fields of grain, the green representing the lush oak, pine, and birch forests, and the red for the people who gave their lives for Lithuania's freedom. This year is the 85th anniversary of the garden, which we hope will survive at least another 85 years, acquainting young people with the history and the culture of Lithuania. And we'd like to present you with this certificate of recognition from the Cultural Gardens.